is.
This was expected because the NFL policy is as clear as it can be. If you get charged with a DUI and you plead guilty to anything, even if you don't plead guilty to DUI, if you just plead guilty to some lesser charge that is completely apart from anything DUI related, you're still getting 3 games. You get arrested, you get charged with driving under the influence. They have beefed it up in recent years. It is a 3-game minimum suspension. So we knew the 3-game suspension was coming the moment that Jordan Addison pleaded guilty. And there was like a weird stop-start. We were on break then, but it was July 15. His trial was supposed to happen. Oh, wait, it didn't happen. He's going to be back in court on Thursday. Something weird's going on. What was going on is he was coming to terms with the fact that probably was going to lose if he had pushed it all the way through to a trial. Let's plead guilty. And, yeah, that means I'm going to miss 3 games. And, you know, for the Vikings, because we've been talking about when's Rashee Rice going to miss his time. When you look at the Vikings schedule, and yet, look, the bottom line is this should be a message to anyone. Call an Uber. I remember this conversation before Uber existed. They had an 800 number that you could call, and the union would send a car to take you home, no questions asked. And players were afraid that information was somehow going to be used against them. It was going to make its way back to the coach. No. Now we all have it. Press the damn button, and they'll come pick you up. There's no excuse for it. So that's why I think the punishment is what it is. But from the Vikings' perspective, first 3 games aren't exactly murderer's row. So they get through the first 3. He comes back for the Dublin trip against Pittsburgh, and then the London trip against Cleveland, and then it's the bye week, and then they have the bulk of the season. So, look, they'll miss him. He's a great player, but these are the consequences of doing dumb things. And I think he would be the first to admit it was dumb, and hopefully he learns from it, and other players do too.
They're capable of weathering the storm without him. That's for sure. I do think people are sleeping on the Vikings just because J.J. McCarthy's a rookie, basically a rookie, a first-year starter. But like we've said many a times after the draft and all of that, man, the Vikings had an impressive spring. Good free agency. They did a pretty damn good draft. Like, to me, it looks like their team got better. We just got a question of the quarterback, and that's where it goes. And I think that's where your mind goes right away when you hear about Jordan Addison. You just go, like you said, yeah, they can win those games. It's not murderer's row those first 3 weeks. But when you think about it, at least the way I do, I just go, well, damn, J.J. McCarthy, he's going to lose the guy there that certainly would help him out, make things a little easier for him. Right? Oh, we doubled Justin Jefferson. Great, double Justin Jefferson. We got Jordan Addison over here. He's going to beat whoever one-on-one. So you're in trouble that way. So that's where you feel for J.J. McCarthy, the offense that way. But, the other aspect is who steps up. Is there somebody that, kind of emerges? And I think the thing I look about with the Vikings, where maybe in past years I'd be like, oh, man, they lost Jordan Addison. Uh-oh, they're in trouble. I feel like the Vikings are going to make an effort here to be a better running football team. That's what it feels like with the moves they made to improve the offensive line, right? And I think Kevin O'Connell realizing that's one aspect of his offense that's maybe not as top-notch as his passing game is and everything there. They signed Jordan Mason from the 49ers to go along with Aaron Jones. So hopefully that can help carry the burden a little bit of Jordan Addison, let alone maybe a Tay Felton that they drafted in the 3rd round from Maryland, who has a lot of Jordan Addison-type traits to him. Does he pop up and show up here? So we'll see. It stinks for J.J. McCarthy, but I do think that damn team is good enough to weather the storm, like you said.
I don't think the Vikings have posted their unofficial depth chart yet. The folks at Ourlads do a good job of having constantly updated depth charts. Got to give them some love. If you want a good snapshot at any given time at what a team's draft or depth chart looks like, go to ourlads.com.
100%.
It's every team. And boom, you're right there. They've got Tay Felton as the backup to Jordan Addison. So he's a rookie, but hey, I remember a time they had a rookie receiver from Maryland who came in and did pretty well right out of the gates. Not that there's a lot of comparisons you can draw beyond that, but rookie receiver from Maryland on the surface, not the kind of thing that's going to make you say, oh, wow, that'll just be fine. Well, no, Stephon Diggs was that guy once upon a time, and he made an impact straight from the get-go in Minnesota. So, and it may be, hey, I mean, this is year 3 for Addison. Addison's going to want $30 million plus after this year.
He's going to want something like that. You're right. And,
can you pay Justin Jefferson $35? Can you pay Jordan Addison 30 to 35?
T.J. Hawkinson's making a good amount of money, right? Darisaw's making good money, right?
Preview of coming attractions for what's going to happen in Minnesota when Addison becomes eligible for contract number 2, because he's going to want to get paid.
Yeah.
Maybe some of that steam will die down after he gets suspended 3 games, but still they need to be thinking about the possibility of a future without Jordan Addison. If Justin Jefferson is the guy, they're going to continue to build their offense around, and there's no reason why they shouldn't at this point. So this is an opportunity for Felton and Jalen Naylor, who's the starting slot receiver.
Yeah.
To go along with Jefferson and Addison. Guys like Lucky Jackson, Rondale Moore. I remember when Rondale Moore was drafted by the Cardinals, Drew Brees was working with us that year, and he's a Purdue guy, and Drew was all excited about what Rondale Moore could be. Well, he's getting his second chance in Minnesota, so it could be opportunities for him. But, when you've got a guy like Justin Jefferson who's going to be doubled everywhere he goes, you got plenty of single coverage opportunities for other guys, and other guys are going to get a chance. Week 1, Monday night against the Bears. Week 2, Sunday night against the Falcons. Week 3 against the Bengals. So, again, it may not be murderer's row, but you know what it is? First 2 games, big spotlight. Game 3, it's going to be one of the big games of the week. Definitely. Cincinnati at Minnesota.
Definitely.
So even though it's not the meat of the schedule, people are going to be paying attention. It's going to add a little more pressure on J.J. McCarthy coming out of the gates, because he's not going to have, that guy that you can count on. If Jefferson's covered, Addison is going to be there. He's going to make a big catch in traffic. I mean, he's kind of slight and kind of skinny, and he's kind of rubbery. He just makes these and there are times he gets hit, and it's like, how did he get up? And he just bounces right up, and he's been great for them. Remember that catch he made in the Monday night game against the 49ers when they did the all-out blitz right before halftime? Remember how that was a thing for a few days?
Yeah.
Who's responsible for that? And he made a hell of a catch on that ball. That ball could have been picked off. I still remember that play. I mean, he is a hell of a receiver. So they will miss him. But they do have other guys, and, we'll see. 3 weeks without him, and we'll see what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, those first 3 games, there are 3 teams that are looking to bounce back, right? Bears, Falcons, Bengals. They're going to be on a mission a little bit that way. The Vikings are certainly a little more established than those teams right there. Maybe rely on the defense, too. We know Brian Flores in that defense, like you talked about, watching quarterback. Man, I mean, 2 of the 3 quarterbacks had to face the Vikings defense and Brian Flores, and all they could talk about was he's a pain in the ass to prepare for. Right, so there's a lot of positive there. And with this year's class, as I think you heard me say a few times during the draft process, I liked a lot of the down-the-line guys a little bit, the second and third rounder receivers, more than I did some of the top guys. I really did. They're kind of like, ooh. And this is a draft where I do think we might see maybe some second, third-round guys where we go, wow, this guy became Stephon Diggs, like your point, or something like that. And maybe that is Tay Felton from Maryland. Maybe it is. But Jordan Addison has been phenomenal. You're right, drafting him out of USC. They struck gold there to go along with Justin Jefferson. But we'll see where they're going to go. I think there's enough culture, toughness, good coaching, other good players there, everything around it for me to go, yeah, they'll be okay. It hurts, but they should be okay as a football team overall.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.